We've been talking about the UI changes, the spec changes, and all the other changes coming to WoW. But what about the lore? What about the lore? What about the thing that matters most to our hearts? Let's see what our favorite man, Mr. Doran, has to say about the lore changes coming in Dragonflight.
If you guys have not followed closely the most recent information, this video is going to be perfect for you, as I'm going to be covering all the big changes, retcons, the new plot lines that will be happening in Dragonflight. Everything from title change completely to the time skip, changes to faction leadership, time travel, and a whole bunch of other things that you need to know before the expansion is out. So to sum everything up, what are the 10 big ways the lore is shifting in Dragonflight? I'd like to thank the Sandbox for sponsoring this video.
Sandbox.
And I'm also giving away 2 $10 Amazon gift cards.
Oh, look at that.
The Sandbox is one of the largest multiplayer games where you can play with 300k plus players with over 200 of your favorite bands, including the
Looks like a Roblox
knockoff and over 90 experiences available right now. One of my favorites is The Walking Dead, where you can work with Carl to rebuild Alexandria and fight a bunch of zombies. Best of all, there is a ton of user-generated content like escape rooms and dungeon crawlers. Season 3 is happening right now with only a few weeks left. They are giving away 1.5 million sand with top prize being 30k. It's super simple to start. Use the link to download, sign up, connect to Google, Twitter, or Facebook. You can connect your crypto wallet, but the game is completely free regardless. Now, load into the alpha lobby and use the map on the website to join the various experiences.
The hardest part is remembering your synergies from your class and spec tree, or you'll end up DPing yourself. It's true. It is.
And I'll pick 2 winners in a month. Check out the Sandbox. Bad Guy Titans. This is really the biggest change on this list. If you want more details,
the Titan lore has been tweaked a lot for Dragonflight.
There's a lot of stuff, but a lot of things have changed, and there is big foreshadowing for what is to come later. Almost all the information comes from discovered books in Alderman, and we have everything from edicts of the main Titan Keeper Odin to letters between Loken and Tyr and a few other reports. Long story short, the big information was that it was confirmed that Galakrond was corrupted by Yogg-Saron, the old god.
The old gods creeping back into the expansion.
That Yogg-Saron corrupted Galakrond through, and then use it in turn to corrupt the dragons and to turn them to their side. Then we have information about the Titans deleting history of the Black Empire, hiding truth about the first ones, and just making up history to favor themselves. Furthermore, we know that
take the Curse of Flesh right in the game, which is like supposedly the thing that humanized, we could say, humanized all the races of Azeroth that were Titan forged, right? They were Titan made races, and they got the Curse of Flesh, which basically made them look like the humans that we know in the world of Earth, right? The funny thing is, the Titans have very human characteristics. We see that they are now like they lied to us. They covered things up. They're very envious. Like they envy the things that were made by others, so they wanted to take credit for it. And then, they're very deceitful. They lied to us about a lot of things. They wanted to take credit for everything. They basically wanted to lay out the lore of the land to make all the people of Azeroth and the other planets to believe that they are the gods that created everything. And they themselves knew that wasn't true. But they believed that our puny minds couldn't handle the truth. At least that's what they told themselves, and made us believe that they are the creators of everything.
That some Titan Forge rebelled, and the Titan Keepers sent expedition after expedition to destroy them without success, meaning we might be finding out who these guys are soon. We also learned about a new Dwarven race that is completely separate from the ones that we know, so all these things are just starting to set up the Titan.
That new Dwarven race, he made another video about it, where that new Dwarven race could become another playable race. We could watch it if you guys want to.
Not really the good guys that we used to believe they were, and in my opinion, this is really going to be a huge part of the new story. Night Elves, Elune, and Malfurion. So, obviously, the big
the Night Elves have some lore to play out.
From conversations, it looks like Malfurion will be sacrificing himself in Dragonflight in order to revive.
Oh god, spoiler, Jesus. They don't tell us this shit.
Will definitely be coming back from Ardabil. Furthermore, big things are hinted to be happening with Elune, Tyrande, and the Night Elves.
If that really does happen, Malfurion sacrifices himself, that's bullshit, man. Why can't it be Tyrande? Malfurion's actually one of the most badass Night Elves. Why does he gotta sacrifice himself?
isn't really.
Did you get
that
Sire
big of a
down
new
yesterday?
hint,
No, we
as
didn't.
Blizzard
So here's the
literally
thing. If we leave all 3 bosses up, if we don't kill Sylvanas today, I will say we're just going to have a final bosses day at the end of the week on Monday or something where we'll kill Sire, Sylvanas, and the Jailer. That's what we'll do.
They told us with the Dragonflight announcement that
We did not
this
get
will be
Sire down
happening,
yesterday,
but
though. We only
have
gave him
things
2
from the
attempts.
beta that already kind of reveal how the story may progress. Based on a Teldrassil's card customization that is present on a Night Elven Shaman, it is possible that a faction of Night Elves rebelled against Tyranda's rule and Elune, and they seem to be working directly with the Primalists. They're trying to get into the Emerald Dream and to accomplish some goal that is still unclear. Seeing that we know that the Titans sort of forcefully turned the dragons, this storyline could have some really interesting implications. Obviously, there are big hints for Night Elven renewal, possible planting of a new World 3 and the Green Dragonflight, but it is also highly possible that something will
The new
be
World
happening
Tree
with
stuff
Night
definitely
Elves that
has
are
to play
not
out at some
going
point.
along with Tyranda's plan.
She has the seed.
Time travel. Time travel is a really big thing in Dragonflight, and it might
Make
even
the
be
Caverns
a
of
huge
Time
chunk
amazing.
of new content as we know it. There are heavy hints.
I personally have major nostalgia hits for the Caverns of Time. I love the Caverns of Time. One of my favorite dungeons in the entire game, the Culling of Stratholme, is a Caverns of Time dungeon, right? I love that place. I hope that they revamp it in some way, and we get to go back there and just do some really fun stuff. Because you can revisit any story with the Bronze Dragonflight.
That Morazon, the alternate version of Nosdormu, will be appearing in this expansion. Chromie is also playing a role. We are going through the various versions of Azeroth, even going as far as the Black Empire thousands and thousands of years ago. Right now, things are really hinting that this is just the start of this entire thing. Galakrond will be playing a role. It is entirely possible that time travel could be a setup for the final boss of the expansion, or it could also be a way for us to learn more about how Azeroth was ordered and all the secrets that were kept away from us. Regardless, you should keep an eye out for time travel, as this will be a big theme in Dragonflight.
Welcome in.
Time skip. This is one of the most well-known changes, but unless you didn't know, Blizzard 100% confirmed the time skip. 5 whole years have passed since the start of the Shadowlands, and 3 years have passed since 9.2.5 and the Shadowlands ending. So, 3 years after Sylvanas' judgment and the retaking of Undercity. In that time, a surprising amount of things didn't happen, and Blizzard really limited the scope here, so we more than likely won't see any changes you would expect in 3 years that have passed. The only confirmed changes right now are that Anduin has been missing for 3 years and that Turelion has been ruling for longer than Anduin. Pretty much at this point,
I'm scared of that guy.
Some characters that used to be children and now adults and will be aged in the game to reflect this change. However, other than
is there really a maintenance today?
We shouldn't expect to see all-encompassing changes to the world of Azeroth despite 3 years passing, which in my opinion is just really unfortunate.
My fault.
Despite 3 years passing, which in my opinion is just really unfortunate. However, we might learn about new consequences of this time skip as the time goes by.
Oh god, great.
Deathwing and the Draktyr. This is a big one, and it is going to be a pretty evident
we'll clear as much as we can then.
That is obviously called the Dragonflight. With the introduction of the Draktyr as a new playable race, we are learning a lot more about how they were created and the actual origin story of Neltharion himself. Right now, there aren't any
we're doing heroic right now.
Completely retcon or change the lore, but we're learning about how Neltharion was viewed in the Isles, how he actually created the Draktyr, and how it was actually Deathwing that put them in stasis and hid them. Long story short, and spoilers of course, the Primal Dragons also have their own versions of aspects that are similar in strength to the dragon aspects that all of you know of. A battle ensued where the dragon broke the weapon Deathwing used to control the Draktyr, and fearing that they would become unhinged and that he couldn't control them, they were put in stasis. Later, when Deathwing just got insane, blue dragons attempted to completely destroy them, but the entirety of the Dragon Isles was put in stasis as well. Other than this, Vrathian and other black dragons are vying to become a new black dragon aspect. And there's a lot of lore in regards to Neltharion and his transition into Deathwing. So expect a ton of Black Dragonflight lore change.
We could easily revisit the entire Deathwing storyline in a time walking dungeon, or not. Sorry, not time walking. In a Caverns of Time dungeon. We could easily see, his slow corruption, just like we revisited Arthas, right? We saw Arthas in the beginning of the end for him, where he started to become the Lich King, and what really ticked him off and sent him on his way to Northrend. We could start to see that corruption of Deathwing. Revisit the entire story in a dungeon. That'd be so cool.
And also old
Good morning,
god
Lucian.
stuff.
Caverns of Time raid
First,
ideas? Oh, it would be so... I really hope they dig into some Caverns of Time stuff.
Storyline
I think that'd be
seems
great
to
content.
Be continuing full steam ahead. Turns out Blizzard didn't really go with what a lot of community asked for when they said that you should just forget Shadowlands and hope that it didn't even happen, and instead Blizzard decided to double down on
We have a realm to destroy.
Daganja, thank you for the follow and welcome to our Scourge.
May actually be a good thing, as maybe with the new lore in Dragonflight, the storyline of Shadowlands might start to make some sense. Long story short, this ties into the Titan documents we had previously discovered. Essentially, the main Titan Keeper Odin admits that the first ones are the true progenitors and that they created the many works of wonder on Azeroth. The Titans only came in and ordered things, but according to Odin, nothing can exist unless there is order, which is obviously order for his dogma. Odin also told us to not tell anything about the first ones to the mortal races and to keep their existence a secret and to paint the Titans as the actual gods. This, at the moment...
That's what I was talking about. Their deception of all the races, basically to tell us that they were the ones who created everything. And Odin played it off like, oh, the races are too stupid to understand the first ones, right? Even though we just went in there and fucking took all the gear from the sepulcher of the first ones because we just destroyed everything in there. Because that's what we do. You know, clearly we were stronger than Odin thought. But I think Odin's real purpose of it was just to stroke his own ego. He loves us to get his ego stroked.
To this realm.
Wets, thank you for the follow and welcome to our Scourge. Dunga, can you get an invite? Yes, you can. Of course. Of course. No problem. Yes. Oh, you already got one. No problem.
Obviously very early hints, but it is heavily foreshadowed.
And Wets, thank you for the follow. Welcome to our Scourge.
That the Shadowlands storyline is
Q.
continuing
Rudis.
full steam ahead. We also learned that the first ones gave some sort of power to the Titans in Zereth Orders, so we may be getting a new Zereth Mortis patch in Dragonflight, and all things right now are hinting that the first ones and the entire cosmological storyline that all of you know of is going to be a critical part of the culmination in Dragonflight. Dragon aspects. Dragon aspect lore is really changing. It seems like Blizzard might even be completely retconning that entire age of mortals now begins, Cataclysm ending.
I mean, the entire expansion of Dragonflight essentially retcons the end of Cataclysm. You guys remember this, right? Where they lost their powers and they were like, now begins the time of man. So ends the time of dragons. Oh, wait. We need dragons. We got to do a Dragonflight expansion. That's a retcon in and of itself, so everything with the dragons has been retconned. Some
series literally have color in the eyes that they apparently lost. While this could mean nothing, the entire lore surrounding the dragon aspects is without a doubt changing. The Age of Mortals seems to have been rather short-lived. We're learning that the dragon aspects are not even that unifying for all the dragons, and that they essentially are just Titan-affiliated dragons. The Primalists also have their own version of the aspects that are similar in power.
There we go, tied that.
The Titans had corrupted, I guess we can say corrupted the dragons, so who even knows how benevolent the aspects even are and whether they're just minions in a similar manner to the Titan Forge. They might even have to break this Titan programming in the expansion, so big things will be happening with the dragon aspects in Dragonflight. Gilness.
It seems like a lot of the dragons were angry with the entire fact that some of these dragons became the dragon aspects. They think that the proto Drake is like the pure form of dragons, right? That's what our first raid essentially is about.
Gilneas has been up in the air for well over a decade at this point, but at the end of Shadowlands, things finally started moving, at least in some sort of a direction. This isn't actually so much of a Dragonflight expansion lore change, but it is a general World of Warcraft lore change. At the end of Shadowlands, there was a letter where Kalia Menetel confirmed to commit herself to withdrawing Forsaken troops from Gilneas, and she made that promise to Ken, and she said it would take some time. Well, a time skip happened and 3 years had passed. Now, this isn't just my speculation, there is an actual official Blizzard Blue post where they discussed the time skip and they said that they want big events to happen in game so we can play through them as questlines. For example, the retaking of Undercity that we did in 9.2.5. Then they said
there is certainly some hub
events
city
like
stuff
Gilneas
that's gonna
for
happen.
these future scenarios, meaning that a revamp won't be happening overnight, like as soon as the expansion is out. This, in my opinion, is essentially a half confirmation that the Alliance may get a hold on Gilneas quite soon, and that we may be getting a new city. Whether it will happen in Dragonflight, we don't really know, but more than certainly further hints will be happening during this expansion.
They're definitely, whether it happens in Dragonflight or not, they're definitely laying the ground for some new hub city work. Right, some either whether it's Gilneas, whether it's Undercity, you know, all of these things are going to change eventually.
Centaur. This isn't really a
what happened to the Night Elf seed? Yeah, we talked about that earlier in this video. That's going to happen too, right? There has to be a new world tree. Evidently, Tyranida's just hanging on to it. She's got it in her bag right now, just chilling, figuring out where she wants to plant it.
Lore change by any means, but it does show that Blizzard is really doubling down on making the Chronicle obsolete. As you may remember, the Centaur by the Chronicle were created not that long ago in the grand scale of things by an unholy union between an elemental and a son of scenarios. Because of this, the really hateful and sort of cursed children were born that became known as the Centaur that just waged war and caused chaos and attacked everyone. This, at the time, was like the opposite to the Dryads that were noble and all about protecting nature and balance. Well, turns out in Dragonflight there are other Centaur that are called Centaur that have nothing to do with this original storyline, that have been around for thousands and thousands of years longer.
These are the Chad Tars. Much big, you know, buffer and sexier centaurs.
Some are friendly to us, some are not. Now, Blizzard promised to make a specific story for them and how they're unrelated to the Centaur that we know, but to me, this is an obvious.
Yeah, that's right. Essentially, with the time skip, Tyranida's been hanging on to that seed for 3 years now. Where'd she put it? What's she doing with it? Is she sleeping every night next to that seed? We don't know. But it has been quite a while.
Retcon to old lore, as while they may be a new unrelated race, they still kind of made that storyline of their creation completely obsolete. Leadership. This is a continuation of what was started in Shadowlands, but it is hinted that big things will be happening with both the Horde and the Alliance, but especially the Alliance, which really should be the case at this point, as the Horde has been in just civil strife time and time again for like, what, a decade at this point. With the time skip, it has been confirmed that Anduin has been missing in action for years. Last time we had seen him, he was talking to Sylvanas as she was serving her punishments in the Maw. We know the Alliance.
I wonder if he's still there with Sylvanas.
Nowhere, there are no real actual leads as to what Anduin is actually doing. In that time, Tyranian has been leading the Alliance.
Sam goes, maybe the new world tree is the friends we made along the way. Isn't that beautiful? No, it's probably going to get planted, honestly. They're just figuring out where they want to put it.
Essentially longer than Anduin has been king. We don't really know what Anduin is up to, but it is hinted that he's been up to something quite big and will be possibly returning soon. With that said, there is a lot of potential with leadership of Tyranian.
Yeah, Tyranian and Anduin, they don't lead the same way, so I don't know how that's going to go.
Once again, don't forget to download Sandbox using my link down below in order to win 2 $10 Amazon gift cards.
Great video. Great video.